Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Western Association for the College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We've got an exciting session today, but before we get in, I'm going to cover a few housekeeping items. First thing is how to ask questions. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A button to type your question to presenters at any time. Also note that your camera and microphone are off. You're muted and your video is also off as well. Panelists can't see or hear you. Please be aware that we have additional sessions available. So if you have any interest in other institutions, please go to the StriveScan website and sign up. Lastly, the recording will be available. So check out strivescan.com/WACAC. The presentation will be posted about a week after the call. With that, we're going to turn it over to our first presenter from Loyola University, Maryland.
Hello, my name is Michael Decker, and I am with Loyola University, Maryland. It is so nice to be here with y'all today. I am actually, hold on, I don't think I did my screen share correctly. Let me do that one more time. I am actually our West Coast regional rep. So I work with all of our students from the West Coast, but happy that y'all are all here and looking at Loyola University, Maryland. We are located in the city of Maryland. If you've ever been to Maryland before, we're about 15 minutes from the Inner Harbor. So we're in a residential neighborhood, but we are in the city, which is kind of nice. So our students can get downtown to places like Under Armour. Our business students are doing Under Armour internships at Under Armour. Our political science students are going to DC and doing internships down there, along with our forensic students. They're doing internships at the FBI. So a lot of great things happening just in the city of Baltimore and where we're located. But I think another thing sometimes students will ask me when we talk about Loyola, they're like, Michael, I've heard some other Loyolas before. There's Loyola Chicago, Loyola New Orleans. There's the Loyola in Los Angeles. Are y'all all the same school? We're not the same school. St. Ignatius of Loyola founded the Jesuits. So there's actually 27 institutions across the United States that are Jesuit institutes in colleges or universities. So we're all different, but how we teach is going to be the same. Two big themes that are going to go on there. Education, the whole person, and men and women for others is going to be a really big one for you. So we're big into a liberal arts education and service. Not service like in high school where you're like, I got to complete 100 hours of community service. But for example, our accounting students are learning how to do people's taxes, and those people's taxes, then they're going out into the community. And this year we did over 200 people's taxes. So that's the type of stuff that we're doing. The great thing too is we're a member of the College Town Network. So there are over 120,000 students in the city of Baltimore. And so you're going to get a big campus feel when you're off campus. But when you're on campus, there are about 3,900 undergraduates on our campus. Average class size is about 20. Faculty student ratio is 12-1. So if you're looking for a smaller campus, this might be a great fit for you. 35 majors are on our campus. We have everything from our School of Arts and Sciences. We are phenomenal, like I said, forensics programs in there. We have a communications program. If you're into creative writing or if you're into publishing, we have a great, we're one of the only universities that have an online publishing company. Our students are doing 20 books a year. They're doing both print, audio, and electronic books. They do it everything from selecting the book all the way to printing, which is kind of cool too. And then we have engineering, 4 separate tracks there if you're interested in that. Really strong pre-med program. 73% of our students got into pre-med. And then also if you want to do pre-dental, 77, so higher than the national average. Really strong business school on our campus. Students, like I said, are doing internships at places like Under Armour, Black & Decker, McCormick & Schmidt. Some of those internships are paid, $19 to $24 an hour. And with our business program, if you'd want to stay and get your MBA, you could definitely do that. We have a great stock trade room. And then our other school, which is our smallest, is our School of Education. With that school, we have a brand new building that's going up on our campus, which is going to be amazing. So we're excited for that also. But there's more than just a great education that you're going to get on our campus. We have 18 Division I varsity sports. You might have heard about our lacrosse program, but then we also swim, tennis, all types of different things. So not everybody's playing varsity athletics. I know I didn't play varsity athletics when I was in school, but I did do intramurals. We have what we call our Fitness and Aquatics Center, the FAC. 98% of our students are taking place doing something in the FAC. So it might be intramural soccer, or it might be just doing our esports. Lots of opportunities on our campus. We have over 200 clubs and organizations, everything from the ukulele club to Black Student Union does a fashion show. SGA does Loyola Palooza. So lots of opportunities when you're on our campus. 82% of our students live on campus all 4 years. Our residence halls are top 10 in the United States. And then 2/3 of our students study abroad. So it's not if you're going to study abroad, it's when you're going to study abroad. Those deadlines were this year's actual deadlines for applications. We're a Common App school, so no trouble there. Just fill out one application, multiple schools. Profiles, typically 3.62 is our middle 50%. We are test optional. We've been test optional for about 10 years and will continue to be test optional. There's no separate scholarship application. You will simply fill out your Common App and you'll be eligible for scholarships there. I could go on and on about how great Loyola is, but I really would like you to sit in either a virtual presentation that we have, and I'll send you more information on that. Or if you want to come to our campus, we do campus tours Monday through Friday and select Saturdays. On campus, we allow 10 students at a time with one parent each, and there's some COVID things you have to follow also. Well, thank you very much. And like I said, my name is Michael Decker, and I will drop my contact information in the chat right after this. Thanks, and have a great day.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Michael. I know Loyola University is definitely our neighboring school. So good evening, everyone, again. My name is Larry Kalangi, and I am the Regional Admissions Coordinator for the University of Maryland, based in Southern California. And so I manage all West Coast territory regarding recruitment, as well as review student applications. I'm excited to discuss the application process with you and share more information about the University of Maryland College Program. To get started, I would like to share a few distinctions. UMD is now ranked number 19 according to US News and World Reports. Last year, we were ranked number 22nd. And so we take pride in our students, faculties, and staff members to make this great strive. Whether it's from our research, leadership labs, the rankings are based on more than 15 measures of academic quality, including graduations and retention rates. And so we're very proud of these distinctions and continue to foster excellence each and every year. We're also ranked number 10th and number 16th best value for in-state students and out-of-state students, respectively by Kiplinger's Personal Finance. We're number 11 among public universities by Forbes America's Best Value Public Colleges. We're also ranked number 1 best college for LGBTQ students by Campus Pride. At University of Maryland, we have 12 academic colleges plus letters and sciences, which is an advising house for students that are undeclared or undecided. At University of Maryland, we have over 90 academic majors and programs to choose from. Students can also double and triple major or declare a major and minor in another subject. Our most popular majors are criminal justice, computer science, business, government and politics, biological sciences, and engineering. Some of our majors are limited enrollment programs, or LEPs. Because of their strong reputations, they are highly sought after majors, and we must limit enrollment to maintain program quality. As a result, these programs have competitive requirements beyond the admission standards of the university. The environment and the setting of your studies is a leadership lab. University of Maryland is uniquely positioned right outside of Washington, D.C. Students can enjoy the abundance of cultural, professional, and recreational opportunities Washington, D.C. has to offer. Many of our students decided to intern or work for federal agencies, nonprofit organizations, cultural experiences, and the National Smithsonian Museum. We're about 10 miles from the White House and about 20 miles from our state capital, Annapolis, Maryland. At this time, I don't have an answer regarding our test score policy. We have not made any changes. However, one should be released, most likely during the summertime, similar to when we made our decision last year. This past school year, we are test optional, and I'm hopeful that we are continuing to be test optional, but we have not made that decisions yet. If we do go for test optional, this means that test scores are not required to complete your application. Your application will still be reviewed holistically using the 25 admissions factors that are qualitative and quantitative in review. And you will not be disadvantaged by not submitting a test score if we do go test optional this following fall. However, be on the lookout for our announcement. It should be coming out soon. At University of Maryland, we do also require 2 letter of recommendations, one from your counselor and one from your teacher. Recommendation letters can speak to your resilience as a student, your ability to lead, and your work ethic in the classroom. We do require an activity list, or you can send a resume to us. This is your time to talk about everything you did outside of the classroom. We do require a $7 application fee. This year we will be on Coalition and Common App at the same time. There are fee waiver if you ask, and then most Coalition will give you a fee waiver as well. We do require an official high school transcript. This must come from your counselors. You can submit them through Naviance or mail directly to University of Maryland. We do require 1 essay. You can choose to write an open topic or any prompt from the Coalition or Common App. The purpose of the essay is for the admissions to learn more about you as a prospect students. Since we do not have an interview, your essay can set you apart from other applicants. So thank you for joining me to learn more about University of Maryland. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to utilize the Q&A feature. And also this email right here, I will be able to answer that if you send any questions there. I will now pass the baton to Catholic University.
Awesome. Thanks, Larry. So my name is Catherine Pierce. I am the Assistant Dean of Admission at Catholic University. I work with students from the West Coast, but I am based in DC. Sorry, give me 1 second to get this to full screen. So just a little bit of background. We were founded as the National University of the Catholic Church, but are also the 2nd oldest graduate research center in the United States. We have 31 on-campus research centers, so lots of different opportunities to do that in DC on campus, but also take advantage of all of the internship opportunities that DC has. We've got 3,100 undergraduate students. Of course, being the Catholic University of America, about 80% of our students do self-identify as Catholic, but you don't have to be Catholic to attend. We're welcoming to all of our students of all different faiths and all different backgrounds. You can discover the DC Advantage, as we like to call it. We are only 3.5 miles from the Capitol. We have our own metro stop right at the Brooklyn CUA stop right on the Red Line, which is really convenient. Just 3 stops takes you to Union Station, and from there you can actually get off and walk to the Capitol. We have that immediate metro access, but we also have the largest residential campus in DC. So we have 176 acres to call our own. We're located in the northeastern corner, so it's nice that we have this own, residential campus with lots of different green space that you're able to, call home. So lots of different opportunities there. We also, for academics, we have 12 schools that you can choose to study from. The 9 that we have pictured here are undergraduate schools. We have 144 graduate and doctoral programs, and we also have pre-professional studies options as well. Within 6 months of graduating, 90% of our students are either employed full-time, they're continuing their education in graduate school, or they've gone on to the seminary service or military. So it's great to see that you have all of those options. To meet those goals really quickly, we have over 3,000 internship opportunities. And like I mentioned before, lots of research opportunities as well, which is really wonderful. In addition to that, we also have study abroad. We have 115 programs in 37 countries. So lots of different options for our students who are interested in that. About 40% of students go abroad during their time at Catholic. We also have a flagship program in Rome. We also have a really awesome community at Catholic with over 100 clubs and organizations, ranging from academic clubs to cultural clubs, to just general interest clubs, you name it, we have it. You can create your own club as well. We have a really phenomenal campus ministry program. We have lots of community service opportunities, and we also have 25 Division III varsity athletics, in addition to 10 club teams and 16 intramural teams. So there really is something for everyone to get involved at Catholic University. This is our application timeline and what we're looking at over the next year. We are only on the common application. So those are our deadlines that we have, what we're looking for in an application. Of course, your transcript, your school report, a counselor letter of recommendation, a teacher letter of recommendation. We read your Common App essay. That's how we get to know you. Your Catholic University statement, where we ask why Catholic. This is optional, but it's a great way for us to learn a little bit more about you and how we ended up on your list. Two great things about our application process is that we do not charge an application fee. It is free to apply, and we are test blind. We started that for this recruitment cycle, and we will continue that for the next several years as well. So that's really great that we're just going to look at you holistically, what you've done, not only inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom as well. We're also automatically reviewing you for merit awards. So those range from about $17,000 to $30,000 a year. They are renewable for 4 years. You do not have to do anything additional to apply for those. Your application is simply part of that process. We'll review you at the same time for admission that we review you for a merit scholarship. We do have a couple scholarships that you do need to indicate interest for on the common application, which are a parish scholarship and our legacy grant. And we do have a handful of full tuition scholarships available to students as well. And then finally, for need-based financial aid, we do require the FAFSA and the CSS profile. Both of those are required for full review, but we give out about 95% of our students some form of financial aid or scholarship, and $70 million in grants and scholarships are given out to our students each year. So it's just a little bit of an overview about Catholic University. I'll also put my information in the chat if you have any questions. We are open for visits. We have a lot of different virtual options as well. So we hope that you definitely are able to take advantage of those if you want to learn a little bit more about Catholic. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Our next institution will be Whitworth University.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hoping you can all see that and hear me. Hello, everyone. My name is Tess Abbott, and I am an admissions counselor at Whitworth University. Excited to talk with you today. So Whitworth is kind of the odd one out in this group. We are actually located on the West Coast. We are in Spokane, Washington. Spokane is the second largest city in Washington State. One of my absolute favorite cities. I'm from California originally and moved to Spokane for school, and I haven't left since. I think it's such an awesome city to be a college student, a young professional, and so much more. We do have 4 real seasons, including a real winter. So if you are interested in skiing or snowboarding, or maybe just having a warm cup of coffee in the cafe and looking out at a winter wonderland, then Spokane is a great spot for you. Whitworth's mission is to provide our diverse student body an education of mind and heart, equipping graduates to honor God, follow Christ, and serve humanity. We are a very mission-centered institution, which is why I bring this up to you today. You can see some key parts are highlighted there. We do have a very diverse student body in many different ways. We do hope to educate not just your mind, but also your heart, knowing that you are a young person and there will be some ups and downs. Even if you are young or old, we know that there will be growth during your 4 years at Whitworth. And finally, we are a Christian institution, but we do not require Christianity or any faith at all from our students. We have some awesome campus ministry opportunities, but nothing is required. We are a smaller school, about 2,300 undergraduate students, which means, of course, small class sizes. That's what we love to see, especially in these pandemic times. I don't think we predicted that being a small school would be beneficial right now, but we definitely have experienced that as our students have been back on campus all year long. And small class sizes have really translated to student success. That could be what you do after college, but also how soon you're able to graduate. As much as we love you, we do not think you need to stay at Whitworth for more than 4 years. Of course, that's just additional tuition and potentially lost income. So we want to make sure you can finish your degree in 4 years or less and move on to some awesome next steps. We have over 100 majors and programs at Whitworth, which is a ton for a school our size. Everything from accounting to writing, so many in between. I've highlighted some of our largest programs in red here. A lot of science programs like biology and health sciences, but also education, music, and psychology are big ones for us. You can see the bottom left-hand corner, we have a major called Design Your Own Major. So if for some reason one of these 100 does not work for you, you can put together some of our minors or other courses into your own major. And on the right-hand side, you can see a lot of pre-professional programs. A lot of our students are thinking of going into a graduate program, and Whitworth really equips students to do that, especially in the health sciences. Spokane is kind of a healthcare hub. We have 4 major hospitals for our region. That's quite a bit. We have 2 medical schools in Spokane. Whitworth is actually breaking ground on its own doctorate of physical therapy and occupational therapy very soon. So it's a great place to be if you are interested in health sciences. Okay, outside of the classroom for a little bit, there's a lot going on at Whitworth. A lot of that starts in our residence halls. We do require first and second year students to live on campus, which is one of those fun requirements in my mind. We have 10 residence halls. They are all very unique. They have their own personalities. One is the original building that Whitworth was founded in, and one is brand new with heated bathroom floors. So there's a whole range for everyone. We have tons of student clubs that are led by students that always have fun events going on. We love intramurals, especially the sport of the pandemic, it seems, which is bubble soccer. And outdoor recreation is popular on campus and off campus. We live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. So if you like hiking or biking or skiing or snowboarding or just walking around in a pretty place, then Spokane is a great spot for you. We do participate in Division III athletics. We have 21 varsity athletic teams, and we participate in the Northwest Conference. I'm a little sad to see none of my Northwest Conference peers here, which include Whitman, Willamette, George Fox, other Oregon and Washington schools like that, because Whitworth has won the Northwest Conference All Sports Trophy 12 years in a row. So anytime they're around, I like to brag a little bit about that. But it's a great place to be an athlete or just a fan. We also have some awesome art, music, and theater programs. If you're hoping to be a professional in one of these fields, we can definitely help you get there. But also, if you just want to continue your interests or hobbies, you're welcome to be a part of them in addition to your other programs. And we give talent scholarships in all 3 of these areas, even if you are not planning to major in them. Okay, a bit about our application. Number 1, it's free. We do have our own application, or we participate in the Common App. We've been test optional for over a decade, and we also don't require academic recommendations or recommendations at all. But if you have a test or a recommendation available, go ahead and send it to us. We do rolling admission, and you can get your decision within 3 weeks. A few deadlines, of course, many of these have passed for this year, but if you're a junior, put these down on your calendar. March 1st is our priority deadline. If you're a senior and you are still hoping to apply to Whitworth after this, go ahead and send us your application. We will be reviewing them as space is available. A couple of quick financial aid facts for you. 100% of our incoming first-year students are receiving financial aid. On average, last year, that was almost $35,000 in scholarships and grants. And anytime we talk about financial aid or money, I always want to remind you of the value of a bachelor's degree and a Whitworth bachelor's degree specifically. We are very proud to have been ranked number 3 best regional university values in the West. You can visit our campus right now if you'd like, or participate in some virtual webinars. If you do want to visit campus, we offer some travel grants, and we also have a $1,000 visit scholarship for those who visit campus or do 2 webinars. And that is all for me. I'll pop this information in the chat, and I would love to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next presenter is from Albion College.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dana Smith. I am the out-of-state admissions counselor from Albion College in Albion, Michigan. This begins the Michigan portion of our 6x6 fair today. I know you've heard a lot from the East Coast and then a little bit from Tess, but we are moving to the Midwest here. Just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of the community at Albion, we are a pretty small institution. So I know a lot of other schools have already shared a lot of the benefits of going to a smaller school. And you've seen a lot of numbers. You're going to continue to see a lot of numbers in your college search. So I always like to share the stories behind the numbers. So for us, talking about why the small school matters. These are the people that are going to be writing your letters of recommendation, the people who you're going to call when you get into med school. Really getting to form those connections with others is why we do what we do. And so you can see here, the average class size at Albion is about 16, and our faculty to student ratio is 11:1. Campus itself is pretty small, but we are about 200 acres, but it's a pretty small population in that big campus size. So we are residential, we're a liberal arts institution, which I'll talk a little bit more about here in a second. The two big numbers that we always talk about at Albion are this placement rate and this graduation rate. As some others have so aptly said, we love you being here, but we also want to make sure you're going out into the world in that 4 years. I think I stole that from Tess. So 98.5% of our students are graduating in 4 years. And within 6 months of graduation, a majority of them are employed in grad school or doing some kind of service. So not only are you having that incredible experience here, but you're really successful going out into the real world after you leave us. A little bit about the admission process here. So as you can see, we really try and establish that liberal arts approach from the moment you enter our system. So we take a really holistic approach to admission, not just looking at that GPA, but also looking at any recommendations you send, your essay, extracurriculars. We are test optional for this year. We have not made decisions about fall 2022 applications yet, but we'll be sharing that as soon as our institution makes a decision about that. But again, we're looking at you as a whole student beyond just you as a number. Again, a benefit of being a smaller school, and really want to make sure that we look at you holistically. A little bit about academics at Albion. So there's a lot of words on this slide, so I will cover the important things here. We have over 80 majors, again, being a smaller school. But as you can see here, they're not all listed here. These are our major academic departments. So you might not see the exact program that you're interested in, but don't worry, it might just be nestled in one of these departments. We also offer a design your own major option. A lot of those actually become regular academic programs because they're so popular. So a lot of students used to design marketing, for an example, and then so many students did it that we made it a major. So being able to be pretty flexible with curriculum and adding popular programs is also something that we've been really excited about. You can see here a lot of our most popular majors are in the STEM field. It's definitely very relevant right now. We do actually have a whole healthcare institute on campus, so it's specifically aimed towards helping our pre-healthcare students get into those next steps, whether it's a public health concentration, pre-med, pre-dental, pre-vet, kind of anything in the healthcare field that you can think of. We have staff to advise you on that. And you can see here we have a bunch of other pre-professional programs also aimed at that. So we are an entirely undergraduate institution, but we have some formalized partnerships and some other staff to help you with those that aren't finalized and getting you to that next step after graduation from Albion. But outside of the classroom, there is so much to do. We have over 100+ clubs and organizations, and students are involved in almost all of them. My favorite joke to make about Albion students is that their email signatures tend to be longer than their actual emails because they're involved in so many things. We are varsity Division III athletics in the NCAA, in the MIAA conference, which is the oldest conference in Michigan. So we are very competitive in most sports. We have 21 of them and just added esports and men's and women's wrestling this year, and are looking to add a couple of other ones as well in the coming years. But outside of just clubs and things you can participate in, our union board is also super active. So that's our student activities committee. So they're putting on events, they're bringing people to campus to keep you entertained. And I would say 6 out of the 7 days of the week, they have something exciting going on. One of my favorite ones that they've done in the pandemic was a socially distanced glow dance party. So everyone like put on glow sticks and went out on the quad, and we had big tents for the semester. And they just had someone DJ and they danced around in the dark with the glow sticks. So there's been a lot of really fun, silly stuff like that throughout the semester, even with all of the restrictions in place for COVID. And finally, I wanted to end with some words on affordability. So we do offer merit-based scholarships, and you're automatically considered for those when you apply to Albion, and those range from $23,000 to $34,000. You're also considered for an out-of-state student Forks of the River grant, which this year is $5,000. And then any other kind of need-based money is based on that FAFSA, and every student is evaluated individually based on that information. So that comes from the Albion Commitment Grant is what that would appear as on your award. And there are some other smaller ones, like if you get referred by a current student or something like that, there are many other kind of micro scholarships you could also qualify for. But I think that puts me right at the end of my time. So here's my contact information. And I will also throw in some popular links into the chat as well. Thank you guys so much. And I will pass it on to our final person here.
Thank you. The representative from Northern Michigan University.
Hey, my name's Erica. I'm from Northern, and I will just bring up the rear here today. I can't see you, but I'm really excited that you guys are here today, so thank you for coming. So Northern is located in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And just one second. The chat is hiding my, there we go. Northern is located in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in Marquette. We are right along the shores of Lake Superior. Our natural setting makes for amazing outdoor experiences, academic and recreational, all year round. Many of our students love the outdoors, but you don't have to in order to thrive here. So Marquette is a safe and welcoming and friendly community. And we do have direct flights. So if you're coming from the West Coast, you're probably going to be flying into Marquette. We do have direct flights from Detroit, Minneapolis, and Chicago. But we're a safe, welcoming, friendly community, and we celebrate all 4 seasons here as well. So we're a mid-sized institution. So we're large enough where we have a lot of programs to choose from, a strong alumni network, connections around the world, nice facilities, but small enough where you have small class sizes and your professors know your name. Our average class size is about 28. Our average lab and seminar classes are about 15. All of this gives your professors an opportunity to get to know you on a personal level. So those close personal relationships result in mentorship and guidance as you move through your career at Northern and on to whatever you're going to do next, whether that's grad school, joining the professional world, whatever. So we have just over 170 different academic programs to choose from. So we have some popular programs that are related to our natural setting, like fisheries and wildlife management, environmental studies and sustainability, but also things like nursing and art and design, criminal justice, sports science. We have a large array of business programs, as well as programs like medicinal plant chemistry, which is the first of its kind in the US, as well as indoor agriculture, which is another major we've added that nicely complements that. So no matter what it is that you're studying, you're going to get hands-on experience right away to help you find out what you love so you can get really specific, and what you hate so that you can shift, change your mind to something that is the right fit. So you're working with real people in professional settings, real equipment, real resources in the real world. And the idea is that you leave Northern well prepared to take your next steps. Again, grad school, professional career, whatever it is you decide to do. For students who are looking at this fall, I did want to mention briefly that Northern has been face-to-face this fall in this winter semester, and for many of our courses, and it's something that we've prioritized for our incoming first-year students. We know how important that is. So let's talk about student life. I already mentioned that students are outside all year round. They're hiking, they're biking, they're rock climbing, they're ice climbing, they're sailing, surfing, but that doesn't have to be everything you do. There's tons to do inside too. So we have over 300 student organizations to choose from that are academic and non-academic. And we also offer leadership programs, some that are credit bearing and have stipends that come with them as well. We also offer community service, volunteer opportunities. All of these things are a huge part of the identity at Northern. And of course, under normal circumstances, there's also events that are happening on campus that are going to keep you busy as a spectator or as a participant. So things like the arts, but also sports. So ranging from esports to football, we are a D2 school with a D1 hockey team, but really you name it. What's most important to us at Northern is that we're a safe and welcoming community, regardless of your experience, your background, your identity, or your beliefs. So let's talk about finances. I know this is an important thing to consider for all students, but it seems like especially right now. So for our out-of-state students, the tuition and fees, room and board amount to about $28,300 per year. The average financial aid package for our out-of-state students is around $19,400. And that includes some of our merit-based scholarships that you're automatically considered for, like our National Academic Award, which is $5,600 per academic year, as well as our WildCat Achievement Awards. Northern is now test blind, which means moving forward, we're not even going to look at a test score if you give it to us. So for this year, we are considering them in our tests when we're awarding our merit-based scholarships, but we will not after this year. We also offer some competitive scholarship opportunities as well, including our Presidential Scholars Competition, which offers awards ranging from $1,000 to a full ride, as well as other free money opportunities. So we would really love you to come visit. We are offering limited on-campus visits right now on a month-to-month basis, but we also have virtual visit options as well. But we want you to come experience this place for yourself, see what Northern is like, however you're able to do that. If you'd like more information, you can scan this QR code here. I'll get my head out of the way. But my name is Erica, and I work with students from the West Coast, and my job is to help you navigate this process. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you. And I'll put some additional details in the chat.
Thank you. That was our last presenter. So in the time remaining, we're going to go through a couple rapid Q&A. I'll post a question here for each of our panelists to react to. So the first question, and a reminder, will go in the order that we presented. So first off, Loyola University, Maryland. What advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
I think something that you really have to think about is do not have a number one school, a number two school, and then like you're like, my number one choice is this. Because if you don't get into that number one choice that you announced at Thanksgiving, Christmas is going to be really awkward. So just say, these are the types of schools that I'm looking at. And I think that's a good way to phrase that when you're talking, not just to family, but friends and friends or at your school and that type of stuff.
Thank you. University of Maryland.
Yes, so for me, my advice is to work closely with your admission counselors. Make sure that you know their name and ask for their email. Ask all the questions that you need. Make sure that all your documents receive on time. Read the application thoroughly. Don't rush anything. I think most of us here are here for you. So.
Thank you. Catholic University of America.
I think the biggest thing is just staying organized, and with that, paying attention to deadlines. Deadlines are there for a reason. They're not a suggestion. So just make sure that you're paying attention to those, because you don't want to miss out not only on an application deadline, but also any financial aid deadlines, or you don't want to miss out on any scholarships that way either.
Whitworth University.
I would say consider the city or town that your school that you're looking at is in, and not just the school itself. Hopefully you will spend some time off campus as well, and it will be a city that feels like home for 4 years or maybe a little bit longer.
Albion College.
Yeah, and I would say going off of that, pay really close attention to how a school makes you feel during the process. If you feel like you are really wanted, that they're really excited to have you be a part of their community, then maybe that's going to be a good place for you. So I always really encourage students to, we know it is a head, make the eventual decision is made with your head, but do trust your heart when it comes to those things as well.
Thank you. Last but not least, Northern Michigan.
I would recommend, I know we're in a pandemic, but I would recommend that you visit the school however you can, and not just one school, but many schools, because I think you learn a ton. Like Dana said, sometimes you get this feeling of like, oh, I feel at home here, I feel welcomed here, but you'll also get a sense for what you want and what you don't want when you visit different institutions. And there is a perfect institution for you out there. You just have to figure out what that means. And the best way I think to do that is experience. Virtual is not ideal, but it's the next best thing. So if you can visit a campus, however you can, I think you can learn a lot.
Thank you. Still a couple minutes left, so we'll go to the next question here. Starting at the top, What is your favorite event or tradition on campus? Loyola
The-
University, Maryland, sorry.
No worries. My favorite thing, I actually did not go to Loyola University, Maryland, but the thing that I love most is what we call our late night programming. So on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday nights, we'll do things like midnight breakfast or glow in the dark mini golf, or maybe a hypnotist comes to campus. So you don't have to go out every weekend. There's stuff you can just come right out from your residence hall and hang out with your friends, which I love.
Thank you. University of Maryland, please.
So I used to live in Washington, D.C. and work on campus. Now I reside in Southern California. But when I'm on campus during midterms or test time, we do, our mascot is the testudo, is the diamondback turtle. And there's statues everywhere on campus. Students would rub the nose of the statue for good luck. And they'll also, some students I've seen also provide offerings or something, even their cell phone in front of the statue. So that's something unique for our students during stressful time of the year. So.
Thank you. Catholic University of America, please.
Yeah, so ours is this event called Metro Madness. It happens the first week of the semester. So when our freshmen first come in, and they get essentially this scavenger hunt of things to do throughout DC. So it's a really great way for everyone to get to know their peers and to get to know obviously the Metro and how easy it is to use and navigate and get around DC. And all of our students love it. And it's fun because then they'll come back and help the freshmen with it the next year. So it's a great opportunity.
Thank you. Whitworth University.
Lots of traditions. We have the Little Three, which we encourage all of our students to do over the course of their 4 years at Whitworth. The first is to drop a plate in the dining hall. Supposed to be on accident, but you'll see some seniors accidentally dropping their plates in the spring. We also encourage students to get hit in the head by a Frisbee because there are lots of Frisbees on campus and it's just a rite of passage. It doesn't hurt that much. And then the final one is to catch a virgin pine cone, meaning a pine cone that has never touched the ground. That is the hardest one. I still have not done it. And I don't think we've had any prospective students do it before they come to campus. So I challenge you if you are on campus soon.
Thank you. Albion College.
Yeah, one of my favorite traditions I actually haven't got to experience here yet because of the pandemic, but we have this really cool program at the end of the year called Day of Woden. It's mostly to celebrate our seniors. The day of classes is canceled, and it's really just like a big celebration on the quad. But as a part of that, we have what's called the Big Show. So we alternate between a comedian and a musician every other year. And it's kind of just like a huge campus-wide celebration. So like Jesse McCartney's been here, Seth Meyers from SNL. So I would say that is probably the one that I get the most excited about. I'm waiting to experience.
Thank you. Northern Michigan, please.
I would say probably Battleship H2O, which is where we put a bunch of canoes in our pool and you get in with a bunch of buddies and whichever canoe is left floating wins. That'd probably be my favorite.
I love it. Well, we've got 2 minutes left. Let's go through this last question quickly. I'm not going to transition between institutions, so be ready. Give an interesting fun fact about your school.
Michael Phelps actually trained for the Olympics in our swimming pool at the FAC.
The creator of the Muppets is Jim Henson and is a UMD graduate. So
We've had 3 popes visit, the most recent being Pope Francis in 2015.
Gosh, the first one that comes to mind maybe isn't the best, but we did have a former student go on The Bachelor.
We have a 400-acre equestrian facility owned by the school.
Matt Frazier, who is the fittest man on earth in CrossFit, actually went to Northern for a little bit and trained in our Olympic training site for Olympic weightlifting.
Very good. Well, we thank everyone for participating. Great job to all our presenters. Note that we have a quick survey. It's 4 questions, so if you have time after, please go ahead and take care of that. Also, there are more sessions available if you have interest, so go ahead and sign up for those. And finally, the recording will be available, so take a look at the website. Hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll talk to you later.